No, I mean, with Jordan and just, you look at his career and just all the experiences he's had to have, and of the things he's went through to see him overcome in situations, and it didn't, they weren't all just great situations to have to be in, but whenever he's been able to have that type of response and to show what he can do, and just the continued growth from him through the end of last season, and then you've seen him take ownership of the leadership of our team. And he's not the most outgoing, talkative person, but I see him on a daily basis being intentional to make an impact on others, and that's the greatest. I think that's one of the greatest qualities you can have, is that when you're willing to go out of your way, when you look for those small moments, those small opportunities to make somebody else better. I mean, that is ownership, and he's done a remarkable job. All of you guys are out at practice every day. You see the confidence as a player. There's the consistency, the understanding. That carrying in from spring to summer workouts, and it puts us in a great place as we start camp. And I'm really looking forward to what's ahead because of his growth and just confidence through the experiences.
Is some of that a result of him being the guy, knowing his role and being able to evolve into that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's, I think as much of it just knowing that of the opportunity that you have, but it's also, when you go through it, it's the work, the investment, probably the way that teammates look at them, and just the confidence that they have in them is a big part of it as well. And so, I think it's all part of the process of growth, and he's embraced it. I'm excited for him, and just the steps of what I've seen and what we need at that position, and he's doing his part.
He said he played last year, I think, at times as low as 185 pounds. Now he's 205. I think he hopes he can play at 210, maybe even higher. What can that do for his durability? Because obviously a lot hinges on him. Yeah,
I mean, and that's where for him, he's the investment in the weight room, the investment in nutrition, the daily approach of that, and even just seeing the growth in his body. His body looks different. Just the muscle tone, the strength. I mean, he's running faster than he was. He's moving better. The efficiency, his arm strength, utilizing his legs. All that shows up, and wherever that body weight leads him, we see the explosiveness and the power, and everything we do is to help maintain health. And he's had some challenges. I don't know if I ever we sit there and we go into the NC State game last year, and he comes down. We had all the guys that missed with the flu, and I mean that's just. There's no body weight that's going to fix that. I mean, he's had some unfortunate situations that has occurred that it was just part of the challenges of what we had to overcome. But he's done a remarkable job, and I'm just excited about what all that investment has done to put him in this opportunity for the season ahead.
Last year, coming into the season, you knew you had a lot of talent on defense. You guys have brought in some different pieces, but then figuring out how it all fit together, it seemed like that took a little while during the season. What is having so many pieces back and knowing what to expect? How does that change the preparation?
I'll say we had, going into last year, and we knew we had a lot of young talent, and we had a couple of guys at Kier, and you said Kier and Jermaine and guys that you had Fabian and Coop that were inside that had experience, but we had a lot of youth especially when linebacker to the back end, and so seeing them grow and seeing them in. We watched it unfold. I mean, from the second half of the Louisville game on, it was a different defense. And you take the first half of Louisville, we probably played as bad as you imagine, but they grew through kind of the same similarity of Jordan. They grew through the experiences of what they were able to have. They communicated better. They were, the attention to details, the understanding of, coverages and fits and all those things that take time, and you see guys that really emerged. You saw Kalen DeLoach and his role and what he's done. I'm so excited about what this season looks like for him. But you saw like Akeem Dent, who had been a corner and safety and corner and all of those things in the first couple of years of his career. Well, we made a move and you stayed with that, and you saw the confidence grow within him. And Marion Cooper coming on, Kevin Noles. I mean, obviously we got Jamie we talk about, but you take that coupled with talent and growth and development. That's what has us very excited about this year. And being able to look at you graduate Jermaine and Kier, but you add, Dennis Briggs with another year, and what he's going to bring to the end position with his size, his speed, his athleticism. Derek McClennan's development. Getting into Jared first. Some of the young defensive ends that we have that I think have incredibly high ceilings. A guy like Leonard Warner, who has a lot of experience, that is providing that. They're providing the example of what it needs to look like, and when you have that with talent, now you got a chance. And so, I'm looking forward to where we're going to go defensively, and I think not only with frontline talent and experience, but now we have been able to create depth where you have. Look at a linebacker position where we return that core, but then you add Tatum Bethune. Who is I think he's going to be a special player for us. But that helps Amari. That helps a DJ Lundy, Steven Dix. You bring in Omar Graham, who I think is going to help us as a freshman. I'm excited about just the process of growth within our football team, but specifically defensively, I think there's a lot of great things to build upon.
There were times in practice last year where you didn't have enough O-line to really have two offensive lines.
We fixed that.
Yeah, you got 18 of them now. How much does that help not only in practice but also in games where next man up that you have?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I was asked earlier about about the O-line, and it's it's really a same as story, but you look at the number of guys that had to play early in their career, and the number of combinations that have had to show up through injury or through depth issues that have shown up, and being able to bring in some transfers, being able to bring in some really, really talented high school recruits. I think it sets up for a great fall ahead for us, and then you take the experiences that those guys have had, and Rob Scott, now having 2 seasons under his belt. Last year he had to deal with a lot of injuries, but he's coming into this year almost 330 pounds and confident and stronger, and I'm looking forward to that. The Darius Washington, almost the same as story, of what his career. Maurice Smith. Those guys they got thrown into it, and they've taken some bumps and had some challenging moments. But then, when Dylan Givens came in, and you saw just the leadership of what he was able to embrace within that group, and the impact that he made, and we've been able to do that with some other guys that have come in. It's like now you have the example, and you have the talent, and now it's the competition, and it's showing up with that consistency on a day in and day out basis. But I'm looking forward to seeing our O-line compete during fall camp, and who emerges as those 5. But in all reality, it's going to be 8. Do we have 8? Do we have 9? Do we have 10? And that's where, I'm sitting looking at the roster, and I'm watching workouts, and I feel very confident that we'll be pushing double digits of guys that I think can go out there and help us win, not just play games, help us win games, and that's all a part of our process.
I guess the good thing about people being impatient is that they also kind of have short memory. The last 2 years notwithstanding, it feels like if things click this year, everything's ahead of you that you need to get done, and you want to get done at this institution. Is it an exciting thing that you kind of make good on what's happened the last years if you can kind of strike everything you need to?
Absolutely. You go through a process of, I said when I came here, we're going to build this the right way, and we're going to build it in a way that's going to be able to sustain, because success is coming. I ultimately believe that, and I believe it because of the players we've been able to recruit, the type of young men that I get to coach. The challenges of what they have to go through to be the best version of them. And nobody likes having to go through a tough or challenging moment. But when you show that you can respond, when you show that you can overcome, you show that and then you also build the relationships together. I love watching our team compete when they know it's about to be hard. That is the biggest difference. Like, we go out to workouts and like we tell them this is going to be 60 minutes of just misery. And when they look back at you and smile and kind of nod their head, I said, all right, here we go. That's the mindset. Because you're going to find yourself in games where you're down or you're maybe didn't play very good or you had a bad moment. But no matter who you, if you're on the road and people are booing you or you've got whatever emotional components are out there, it's about just, hey, this next opportunity, go be your best. And you can overcome. Because it's going to, as success comes, well, it's going to be on the flip side of it too. Because when people start patting you on the back, when you and I think that example of last year, we lost the opening game of the season for a competitive game and comeback and all this stuff. There was an appreciation for playing hard, which guess what, our program needed to play hard, but ultimately that didn't get us to what we wanted to accomplish, and we saw a result of other things. So it is a daily focus of growth, of improvement, of hitting that standard. And we've got the right guys. And it is, you look at next year's football team, and in all reality, we have 8 seniors on next year's team, or 9 seniors now. Think about that. 9 guys that are in their last season of eligibility. Well, we have guys that will be playing their last years most likely, right? But it's still like we still have youth, but it's coupled with opportunity. And I think that experience and the things our guys have gone through it's exciting.
You liked what you saw in the spring of the early enrollees, and then you got more guys coming this summer. What have you guys seen from that?
It's been really good, and I appreciate our players for the ownership that they've taken in bringing guys and just bring them under our wings. And you got like Julian Armelez, Untavius Woody. I mean, those guys come in, and it's like you watch how our older O-linemen and guys that have been through it, like Rob Scott, I was just there a few years ago, and you bring them, you see them bringing them along, and that's where it goes back. I know I've said it a few times, but when you see players coaching players, I mean that's exciting. And did we sign the right guys? Looking through a summer, oh yeah, Gerald Powers is a guy that I know probably hasn't got a whole lot of go watch him run. Watch him change direction. Like, he's 245 pounds, and the guy was a high school receiver, and like, that's exciting to me. You see the development of a Brian Courtney who is there. Some of these guys that positionally, some maybe a little bit of a projection on, but to see that we're getting the right type of young men that are elevating, the athleticism, the talent. Now it's just building the consistency in it, and so it's been great getting some of the newcomers that have joined in the summer, and just the ownership of our players to help that transition go as smooth as possible.
When you bring in so many transfers, I guess there's this inherent chance of new faces, new guys, maybe not working out, but it's largely worked out for you guys with Dylan Gibbons being the leader, Jamie Robinson, Jermaine Johnson, I guess. Fabian
Lovett.
We go down the line. There's a lot.
Jordan Travis.
What is it about the culture of what you guys are establishing to where you guys can come in and be guys who younger players follow? Well,
and that's where it's so important about getting the right fit. And it's high school to college, to junior college, wherever that needs to be and whatever that needs to look, it still comes down to these guys possess the qualities, the characteristics, the mentality, the ability to come in and be productive. It's critically important. But I appreciate the process that we go through in recruiting to answer those questions to the best of our ability. And I tell guys that transfer in, I tell guys that are coming from the high school ranks like this, there's probably easier places to go. But because when they come here, we want it all. And that's where, especially for the transfers, when they come in, they have to pour into that locker room. And if that's not a part of something they're interested in, then we do not recruit them. And it was, for as good as Jermaine Johnson was, on the field, I think he made an impact in that locker room. And I think that the locker room made an impact on him. And that's what makes it special. And you look at, it's one thing to take the transfers that come and have success. Kevin Noles, Marion Cooper, Malik McLean. I mean, you sit there and you look at some of these high school players that highly recruited. Some of them have maybe stars, maybe some of them don't have stars. I don't do that. But for me, it's like I'm seeing that we're getting the right guys that are coming in there making an impact early, whatever the path is. And for us to continue to do that, we've got to be on point, but it's still about, I know I say it a lot, but it's about finding that right fit, because now the players are going to experience all the things that they need to grow to be the best them. And they're going to be around like-minded individuals that help make an impact on them, and that's where you build that community. I know it's a community of love. It's like a football team that loves each other. They love to compete with each other. And you know what? One of them gets knocked down, they pick each other up, and they help push forward. One of them has a doubt or a challenging moment, or somebody on the outside is talking bad about them. You got guys that have your back. And that's what makes football special. That's what makes Florida State special. Because that's our community. And yes, you talk about the expectation. Everybody wants it tomorrow. Trust me, I wanted it yesterday. I wanted it from day one. And everybody has a vision of what it needs to look like. That doesn't happen like that. Not to be sustained. But when you do it the right way, when you see that growth, you have the experiences to point back to. I mean, we got a confident football team because they can stand in front of you and say, you know what, I've been through it. I've had people that have doubted me. I've had people that have all of it. But I can overcome. And when you have that, now you got a chance. And trust me, this year, it's going to be a challenge. There's going to be challenges that show up in every game and everything that we do. And if it's not challenging, we're going to create it to be challenging. We're going to force it. But that's what builds these guys to be able to sustain, that success which is coming. So that's a long answer. Sorry. All good?
All right, we have 15 minutes.